what's his name? Sky. So yeah, let's go over it, shall we? Okay, so Jeff Shrews starts by saying, "What can you tell me about Arsenal's transfer window and the thinking behind it? The club has spent the most money of any Premier League club, but the Arsenal fans are underwhelmed." To Edu now. Yes, I understand the reason for because firstly they have not seen the team playing together yet. That's one of the reasons, but I think we have to see the wider context than just to see the money around it. Okay, we signed 6 players who are under 23, which means a lot in terms of our planning. Normally, people like to just see one window, so I have to say it's a bigger picture because we started planning this squad a year ago in terms of consolidating the team and to try to get a better foundation. If you remember, in that period, we renewed Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli a year ago with the intention to get that kind of base in the team. In a 1 year period, we signed 10 players and 7 of the 10 are under 23. We renewed 7 players in this period as well, just in the first team. 5 of the 7 are under 23 as well. Okay, and so trust the process. Project Youth. I can understand that. We don't have the money. Well, we're not a poor club by any stretch, but we don't have the money of, say, a City or Chelsea or Man United even. Why did we do that? Because we have a reason to try again to create a good foundation. Then one day maybe we're going to sign 1 or 2 players only. But after that, it's impossible to sign 1 or 2 players only because I have a lot to do. You have to balance the squad better. You have to recruit the players with the right characteristics and the right profile to make the squad better, more solid and more consistent. Because last season we suffered with consistency. We suffered consistency because the manager shit, bruv. That's the only reason, or the only reason, the major reason. Now I want to give Mikel Arteta and the board a much better squad. So Jeff Shrews goes on to say, "It's clear there's a shift in Arsenal's policy in terms of buying young players that have value in the future. Is that because previously the transfer dealings have been poor? You've been left with players on high wages with no solid value, and like in the case of Willian, his contract was terminated. Has that been a factor in your thinking with this new policy?" Yes, if you see, we had 21 players exit over the year. All of those were terminated, or we tried to sell, or we tried to look with an obligation to buy as well. We tried to clear a bit of the squad and bring in some new faces. We had 21 outgoings and signed 10 players in 1 year. So 21 changes, it is a lot. It is more than a squad in 1 year. But this was the intention again when we are talking about the base and the foundation. We have to create again to just one day go and sign. He keeps saying this base. Look, I get what he's saying now. In that sense, I agree. But even still, the players that we have signed have not progressed. Your problem with that for many Arsenal fans is, let's say from the 6 new signings you've made, probably only 2 of them would go straight into the first team. So how much has this window improved Arsenal's first team right now? You see the strategy for every single name. I can explain to you the reasons. Aaron Ramsdale, for example, he's a very good football player, has the potential to be a big part of the team in the future. For the future, Jeff Shrews says. For the future of the team, he wants to do is balance that position. And why do you bring him in? We already have one player there to play games with, Bernd Leno. We have to bring in someone else to help for the future. And at right back, we just signed Takahiro Tomiyasu. He is someone who can come here and play straight away because we loaned Hector Bellerin to allow space for him to come and feature straight away. That's the plan, but of course it's up to Mikel if he plays or not. And then if you go to Nuno Tavares, he says he has the same characteristics because we have Kieran Tierney to play. We need someone to cover him. Yeah, that makes sense. I think we did need a backup left back. The right back, you got Cedric, you got Chambers, Maitland-Niles. Was that as much a necessity? I don't think so. So Jeff Shrews goes on to say, so they are, if you like, at the moment, reserves. You can only really say Martin Odegaard and Ben White will be expected to be first team starters. So of the 6, only 2 will improve the team. We suffered last year because we lost a player. We lost a lot of players and we didn't really make I'll start again. We suffered last year because we lost a lot of players and we didn't really have good backups to play games. No, it's the manager, not so much lack of depth. I believe we still need a squad to win games. We need a squad to be in a good position at the end of the season because it is not only about the first 11. Okay, let's analyze that point. Last season, we had depth. We still largely got the same players as last. Okay, let's say in attack, we had depth last season. Just in the number 9 position alone, there was Aubameyang, Lacazette, Nketiah, Balogun. And they're still here at the club right now. So look at the wide positions. Saka, Pepe, this is last season. Willian, Martinelli. Smith Rowe can play in the wide position. So that's 5 players I mentioned there. Number 10, Odegaard, Smith Rowe. At a stretch, Willian could have played 10. Saka, a stretch, can play 10. So that's 4 players you got there. So we lack depth, really. That's nonsense. Again, we need a foundation. We need players to play when we need to cover the first 11. That was true in specific positions, right? But even technically last season, we had Kolasinac. Look, Kolasinac is still at the club. So if Kieran Tierney was injured, we could have played Kolasinac there. Kolasinac was on loan, but yeah, theoretically, we could have kept him. So that there's your depth there. Is it good depth? No, but still is depth all the same. Now let's put it into context. For example, in the midfield, you have Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey. So for me and for Mikel, it doesn't make sense to sign another player to be on top of them if they are the ones that are going to be playing. I get his logic, but it's shit logic in my opinion. We need an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. Fine, if you were going to keep Xhaka, I still think you needed somebody else. Because I think the balance and structure of our midfield has been lacking for some time. That's why we chose Albert Sambi Lokonga to help them. If you go up front, we have Alexander Lacazette, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Bukayo Saka, Nicolas Pepe, and Gabriel Martinelli. I want to see them playing together. Yes, and they all were playing together last season and over the last 2 seasons, really. Because they've all been there for the last 2 seasons. So you have had the chance to that point doesn't make sense. In the number 10 position, we saw a gap there because we have just Emil Smith Rowe. We needed a number 10 with the same quality to be there, help and play. When we need to spend big money, for me and for Mikel, that was the center position, because we needed somebody to fill that position. David Luiz was leaving, and this was one where we needed someone to come here and straight away have an impact on the team with the right profile of what we believe for the short, medium, and long term. Even though Luiz was leaving, we still had Chambers, Holding, Gabriel, Pablo Mari. That's 4 centre-backs. So did we need another? I don't think there's a high priority in my honest opinion. That was Ben White. That is why we went there and signed Ben White to give the squad what the squad needed. So Jeff Hughes goes on to say, you understand though why Arsenal fans would prefer, say, if you spend 150 million to buy 3 oven-ready players who could go straight into the first team with maybe Premier League experience or certainly first team experience elsewhere that would improve the team now. As you know, right now the team has not scored a goal, has not registered a single point, and sits rock bottom of the Premier League. I really understand that, but I'd also like them to understand the reason and the direction we're going as a club. Yes, trust the process. Stick the process up your backside. Of course, it has hurt us to be in this situation. We are hurt. I am hurt. I don't want to see the club there, but I want to see the team playing together. To be fair, we have had 3 games and I haven't seen the team playing together yet. So I want to see the signings. I want to see the squad prepared. All 3 games we played against Brentford, Chelsea, and Man City. I thought we've had some different terms of COVID and injuries. Oh, please. All teams have had COVID cases. All teams get injuries. It's all nonsense. Look, Man City, I think we're always going to lose that because our record there recently is poor, and they're just a better team than us. Chelsea, again, better team than us. Premier League champions, European champions, right? But even in the Chelsea game, right, we still made some critical errors which played into their hands. If we'd have marked Lukaku better and not allowed Reece James the freedom of their right, our left, I'm not saying we'd have won, but again, I think we did show a lot of tactical silliness, frankly. And the Brentford game, come on, are you going to blame COVID and injuries for Brentford? Even though Lacazette and Aubameyang were not available, we still had more than enough, and we dominated possession. So if we just had somebody, if we just were more efficient with our possession, we probably would have won that game. It's not to take anything away from Brentford, but again, I think we pass, no end product. If we could create that end product into chances and therefore goals, then we probably would have won. So again, these are just pitiful excuses in my honest opinion. COVID, for fuck's sake, there's a pandemic. Every club in the world is affected by COVID. Injuries, it's a contact fucking sport. What do you expect? Players get injured in training, not even by contact, by a bad stretch or they slip or whatever. Nonsense. I want to see the team play together, and then let's judge the team when they play together. Then after that, no problem. Judge us then. So please. I understand the situation we are now that is really tough. It's not an excuse. Yes, it is an excuse. Let's judge the team when they play together. Oh, nonsense. How much is Mikel Arteta on board with the direction the club is going? Because you know any managers judge the results. If I'm Arteta, I understand you're planning for the future, but if results don't improve, I could be down the road here. For example, go and get me a Romelu Lukaku, somebody like that. How much does he understand? The case here is we really believe in the players we have in the squad. Maybe other people don't, but we do. If we start to see the squad together, we believe in the squad. Okay. That didn't make sense, but whatever. I should try to get the gist of it. The case here is we really believe in the players we have in the squad. Maybe other people don't, but we do. If we start to see the squad together, again, so, it's injuries, it's COVID, it's lack of preparation. Lack of preparation. What? You had a pre-fucking season. Lack of preparation. Nonsense. I sit with Mikel and see the squad. We have a striker there who delivers to us 25 goals every single season. Well, not last season. And I think as Mikel Arteta's tactics at Costa Alba. We have another one who delivers 15 to 20 goals every season. Yeah, that's true. Look, I like Lacazette. I think he's a decent player. For me, his only negative at Arsenal is that he's not been prolific like he was at Lyon. But I think overall he's a very good player. We have two very powerful young players from the academy in Saka and Smith Rowe. We believe in them in our squad. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one, I do. Shit, and I'm just looking at this graphic. So we have the youngest average 11, or young average age, sorry, of all the Premier League. Seriously? Okay, Albert Spurs is 26. Hang on. Man United is 26. Where's Man City? 28. Where's Chelsea? 27. Liverpool's 27. And Burnley's 29. Bloody hell. I didn't know that. As you know, Arteta is under immense pressure right now. Also, your own job has come under criticism. The criticism of you is you haven't done this job in Europe before, and you don't know the European market. What do you say to that criticism, and also what and when will it be where you can be judged for what you've done, your policy at the club? I respect all the pressure. I came in from Corinthians and then the Brazilian national team where there's unbelievable pressure just as here. I understand the fans. I understand the reason and I accept that, but we will need a bit of time to do what we plan to do. And in this type of work, when we are talking about signings, and needing patience hurts Arsenal fans a lot. But it is the reality. That's why when I say to you, we have to create a good foundation and to create a good, you need time. but you don't get time in football. I know, but that's why you make the decisions. We believe in our squad now, but we believe this squad can be even stronger in the future. My job is to think about the short term and also the long term as well. How are we going to plan that kind of journey? Because if we now sign one or two players, we have 3, 4, 5 gaps to fill. People are then going to look at us and say, guys, what are you doing? You spent a lot of money on certain positions, but what about here, here, and here? The balance is not easy to get. Again, we believe we are what we are doing. Talking about my role, I understand the pressure. I understand the pressure on me, Mikel, the board, and the club, because the situation we are now is not acceptable. But now is a moment for everybody to be together, and I would like to see people step forward in difficult moments and take the responsibility. I'm responsible for what we are doing. Then you're responsible for shit, then, Mr. Edu. Do you feel as accountable for the results as the playing and management staff right now? We have a different responsibility, of course. We are never going to be there and tell Mikel to play this guy and this guy. And of course not, because that is his responsibility to choose the team, to choose the system, and to help me make the best decisions in terms of recruitment, because we do the recruitment together, which is true. You have said that, so you both share responsibility. It's not me, it's not him. To be fair, it is we, because when you go to the board and show the board our plan, of course they have to like the plan, and we go together, and then we start to operate it. So of course we have different responsibilities, but we have to see everyone as a group and take the responsibility to try and move forward and leave this situation as soon as possible. If all the players are fit, what do you think this squad should be capable of this season? Is it top 4? Is it top 6? What's realistic? I don't want to go for top 4, top 6, or top 8, or top 10. I'm just really looking forward to seeing the squad play together. I'm really looking forward. Well, that's a politician's answer. You didn't answer the question. I want to see our squad because I don't see it yet. Why do you keep repeating that stupid point, that stupid aimless point? So essentially you're saying, oh, we've had injuries, we've had COVID. Oh, we played the European champions and the Premier League champions. So, but bruv, that does not excuse losing to Brentford. He still had more on the pitch. So are you going to say we lost to Brentford because Lacazette and Aubameyang had COVID, or were isolated because of COVID? Total nonsense, for off. But I'm really looking forward to it because I believe in. And again, I'm sorry. This is this is nonsense. How difficult is it for the club to ask for patience, for understanding, and also for the supporters to buy into what you are doing here, particularly whilst the team is sat where it is in the table? It is hard. I'm not asking for patience because it is the word that everybody hates to listen to. I'm just trying to explain the strategy behind it, because when people see just one window, of course they like to see it. I respect that, but you have to see what we started to do, because we've been together. We tried to clean the squad. As I said, as it 21 again. You keep repeating. I'm sorry, but my man just has this one argument. Oh, let the squad gel. The squad needs time in it. Nonsense. As I said, it is 21 exits. It's a lot, almost a revolution. But how are you going to fill those 21 holes? You need time. You cannot come in and do it straight away. I don't want to be competitive, but you are being repetitive, you dumbass. But it is true. How are you going to create a solid foundation? And then you say, okay, but they are young. They are young, but we have 5 senior players in the squad and in the first 11. In Bert Leno, Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, Alexandre Lacazette, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. You've also left out Pepe. Pepe is what, 26? Is he not a senior player? Kieran Tierney, yes, he's what, 23, is it? But he's senior based on his experience. But shit, you could call how old is El Neni? El Neni's probably close to 30. Because we signed El Neni, what, 5 years ago, is it? I think he's about 23 then. Yeah, he must be, at the very least, he's 28. I'll be surprised if he's younger than 27, let's put it that way. But let's say late 20s. Pablo Mari's almost 30. Look, Cedric, you don't think he's senior? My man won the European Championships with Ronaldo in Portugal. That's not senior enough for you, is it? What about trying to think who else? Uh, Chambers and Holding. They're not senior players. Apparently not, by Edu's reckoning. Um, Around those five, we have very, very good, talented players around them, which we believe in. Maybe people don't, but we believe five guys can lead the team with the answers and the new signings to go to the next step. And probably next summer we are going to see. Then you're going to see just signing one or two or three players. And yes, and why? Because we made these kinds of decisions to create something to go to the future with. I'll give you another example. Why are a few clubs around the Premier League just signing one or two players? Because they already have the foundation. Uh, yes, okay, yes and no. Uh, okay, he has a point. Chelsea didn't need much. The United, I think, needed to replace McFred. Liverpool, they only got Canate, but they needed more. City, yes, they don't need much. But Villa got three or four players. Buendia, Danny Ings. Um, I kind of get his point, but I don't think it's totally correct. Um, they already have the team prepared. I'm sorry, but the reality is we don't. Now you have to create that as reality. I don't want to be here and try to lie. What's our reality at the moment? We need to create a solid foundation. Again, stop with this repetitive argument. Foundation, foundation. Essentially, what he's trying to ram home, right, is that we don't have the money of other clubs, but we're not a poor club. So he's trying to say we're trying to get in good young players, again, to use his own phrase, to build a foundation. I get it. But is this the right way to do it? You can build a foundation with players with it more experience, not just use. Um, so I get what he's trying to say, that we're building for the future. But again, with their recruitment, is it really sound? Time will tell, but I'm not confident. I don't want to see the squad in one season. I like to see Arsenal strong in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. That new strategy. No one has 100% record on transfers, but you get some right but you get some wrong. On your watch, Willian, was that just a mistake that didn't work out? The decision of Willian was to sign someone with experience, a lot of Premier League games, and someone who could impact the team straight away. If you saw the first game of last season away at Fulham, he started very well, and everyone thought, wow, bro, that was Fulham. Come on. A lot of different circumstances during the season for the squad and for Willian as well meant they were inconsistent. You mean the manager made them inconsistent? To be fair, every single player was inconsistent, and now we want to be more consistent. Yeah, because the manager made that. At the end of the last season, I came to Willian and myself, and Mikel said, "How are you? Because I want you to be much more consistent. What is happening?" And then he mentioned to us that he wasn't 100% comfortable. When we heard that, we made the decision that we didn't want to play at the club who is not 100% comfortable or 10% with the team. If not now, it's my business to find the best solution. If it's a mistake or not, it's harder to say he wouldn't if our season had been better with everyone being more consistent. But the most important thing is we planned what we planned, and if it works or not, we have to first find the solution. Um, yeah, Eddie's got some rookie tattoos. I'll give him that. A man like Josh. Um, it's not really clear. Your, I'll start again. It's really clear listening to you what the plan is. The average age, etc. But do you accept that ultimately you will be judged? Everyone here will be judged on results. It's football. We are talking about football, so we have to accept that. That's when people started to criticize us, and you were talking about us, everybody. It's easy to talk about Arsenal today. Everyone went there and was talking about Everyone went there and was talking against Arsenal. We have to accept that. We have to be strong enough to understand it again and try to change it. How are we going to change it? I want to see the players step up forward and say now, is a good moment to go and play. I want to improve myself and try and help the club. Mikel has to improve and the coaching staff has to improve. That's the moment to be together. It's Arteta's job and his responsibility for the coaching and the way the team plays. But would you say to the owners for your part, we're going down a different path here, so you need to back Mikel in terms of patience and support? Because most managers in this instance would say, we need a quick fix now. And Mikel is going down this route, which is the club's new philosophy. Do you think it's right the owners accept that? And they are more patient and more supportive of him than perhaps bad results bring ordinarily? We already know 100% what we are doing because we report to them what the plan is, and we are going to operate the plan and how we're going to be this season. We already know and want to see the squad playing together. We want to see them playing together. Mikel wants to see them playing together. Mikel was happy the other day when we had 2 or 3 players starting to train again. He wants to see everyone fit, and I hope everyone without COVID. All nonsense. Stop using that idiotic excuse. But lastly, where are we right now? It is difficult times for the club. But would you say you were very happy with the window you just had? I am really happy because the plan which we started to execute a year ago, we did. That's what makes me really happy because all the plans, all the steps, all the processes we were putting together, we executed. I'm really pleased because it is not easy. So if the players get fit and results pick up, then we'll start being able to see whether this works exactly. That was a nonsense interview, mainly for the reasons that it was waffle. He was trying to ram home this point of, oh, essentially trust the process. Essentially that you know, that would try to build something, a foundation, that we don't have the money of other clubs. So therefore we have to be patient, we have to build. Now, I don't have confidence in their process. And given their transfer record, which Jeff Streets rightly brought up with Willian, and Willian is just one of many examples, or numerous examples, I think it leaves a lot more to be desired. That's just my honest opinion. Um, but yeah, um, that's that. Then I thought it was an uninspiring interview, and I thought it was total nonsense. We'll see how well this foundation comes to pass, but I don't have much confidence. So yeah, it's a long video, but thanks very much for listening.